rule of law, economic issues, foreign events on the Talking Point. Talking Point, weekdays on this channel.
Especially as it concerns empowering governors to now make appointments of the chief judge of the state. Many people have expressed reservations about this because, of course, there's supposed to be the National Judicial Council, that's the NJC, saddled with the responsibility of not just only making appointments, but also sanctioning, airing legal officers. But if this is anything to go by, it already adds more powers to the already enormous powers of the office of the governor to now appoint the chief judge of a state. Now, is this anything that we see in Nigeria? Because, of course, will it not also hamper the issue of judicial autonomy? Will it not tell on the judiciary's independence? To appoint chief judges of their state. If this move is anything to go by, what does it portend for our democracy? What does it speak about the judicial autonomy that we've been talking about and clamors for? Well, we will establish that conversation in a bit. Welcome and stay with us.
In a world of overwhelming voices where everyone has different opinion on different issues, it is important that we bring the core issue to the fore. Join me, Nancy Banigo, on Softline as we lend our voices to inform and influence your thoughts and actions. This is not just mere talk, it is an invocative program that touches the core of our existence.
Welcome to the rule of the majority, a government in which the supreme power is vested in the people and supervised through a system of representation. Democracy belongs to the people. Political Trail follows these developments and many more. Political Trail, trailing political developments.
Life is a combination of colors and experience in its beauty. The Lifestyle Gallery showcases the beautiful blends of African lifestyle, a TV magazine of lifestyle, food, homes, and fashion, combined with interesting interviews on trending issues. I am Nana Abena. Welcome to my world. Join me every Saturday at 2 p.m. and a repeat on Sunday.
This is Event 360.
My name is IT Dennis.
My name is Bucci.
I'm Nathaniel Bassi.
Hey everybody, this is Sonny Badu.
My name is Bishop Umo.
This is your boy Kenny Black. I'm Hezekiah Walker.
My name is Hilda Bassi.
Hi, my name is Emmanuel, BBN Season 6 finalist, Mr. Africa International. Keep watching Event 360.
Keep watching Event 360.
Keep watching Event 360. Don't touch it. With Zaddy.
While you're on board, keep watching Event 360.
Keep watching Event 360.
Keep watching Event 360.
Event 360. Anytime, any day.
Keep watching Event 360.
I need you to keep watching Event 360.
Keep watching Event 360.
Keep watching Event 360. Don't go away.
Remain favored, remain lifted, and keep watching Event 360.
Keep watching Event 360.
Event 360. Keep watching.
Keep watching Event 360.
Keep on watching and never stop watching Event 360. Do not touch that dialogue.
Hello everybody, I'm Nena.
And I'm Gigi.
Welcome
Welcome to Engine Season 2!
The place to find out about the world we live in
and the creatures that we share our planet with.
Join us on the most exciting adventures across the African continent.
See breathtaking wildlife, stunning landscapes,
and out of this world technologies.
Meet incredible scientists
and learn fantastic facts.
Explore, discover, be amazed.
Be part of the next generation of African change makers.
Be a part of Engine, Africa's #1 science discovery program.
Yay! We're learning every day.
Let's go!
Engine leads the
Nigeria is a great country, blessed with human and natural resources. Born on October 1st, 1960, and like a child who's grown into an adult, has faced her own share of challenges. But Nigeria has the capacity to fulfill her destiny. With great minds and great leaders, a bright future is guaranteed. Though tribes and tongues may differ, her beauty is in the diversity. Her power is in the unity. Nigeria, our country, is for you and for me. Let's make it the Nigeria of our dream. Advocate Broadcasting Network, a part of you.
In a world of overwhelming voices where everyone has different opinion on different issues, it is important that we bring the core issue to the fore. Join me, Nancy Banigo, on Softline as we lend our voices to inform and influence your thoughts and actions. This is not just mere talk, it is an invocative program that touches the core of our existence.
Greatness is not faceless. Greatness has a face. It has many faces. It has over 200 million faces. It has your face. It has my face. Greatness is beyond what we do. It's how we do it. It is the people we do it for. It is never settling, continuously tinkering with an idea till answers to age-old questions emerge. It is our wittiness. It is our speed. It's our energy. It's our heavy punches. It is making melodies from anything. It is in the endless poetry of Nigerian life. Joyful, frustrating, sad, exciting. It's the mix of colors, imitating the breathtaking tapestry of life. It's our defiance of fear and our almost defiant, nearly arrogant presence in the galleries of the distinguished. It is these everyday people creating timeless, priceless art, carving spectacle, crafting history. It is resilience woven into the fabric that we are made of and we wear. Etu, Ashoke, Akwete, Kura. Greatness, the Nigerian spirit. That thing about us that all recognize and still cannot find the right words to describe. Great is Nigerian. Greatness is when Toby Amusho does the 100 meters hurdles in 12.12 seconds and a stunned world held its breath. Greatness is the chicken scratch guitar chords that bewitched the world. A new beat, Afrobeat, from Fela and now to Burna Boy, to Wizkid and Davido. It is the earthy Afro pop of Asha. It's the compelling, beguiling Nigerian R&B of Tiwa and Teni, and the alternative sounds of Thames, Johnny Drill and Chike. Greatness is how our phenomenal artists are selling out arenas both home and abroad with tens of thousands of people showing up to experience the pulsations of this mysteriously sweet music. Greatness is Kunle Afolayan, Jadesola Oshiberu, Kemi Adetiba, Nazo Nuzo, hitting mind-boggling box office numbers. securing global film deals, and rallying communities. Not so long ago, content was just television. And now digital content is the new oil, with our skit makers, content creators, thought leaders growing our digital economy. Greatness is Professors Kayode Oyewumi and Musa Yakubu, being listed among Elsevier BV's most productive scientists in the world. Greatness is Ethan Nwaneri at 15, becoming the world's youngest player in the English Premier League. Greatness is Abasi Eno Umo, pioneering the inclusion of the African genome in research through 54 genes. And Aisha Tofa, building and nurturing a tech ecosystem through Startup Kano. Greatness is Amina Mohammed, championing the voice of global peace as we take a prominent place at the table. Greatness is Miracle Izuchukwu, becoming the youngest female commercial pilot in North America. Greatness is Faith Odunsi, calculating her way to become the global mathematics champion.
Express 0.00.
2.4 times 10 is per minus 5.
Greatness is the pantheon of Nigerian authors. Their stories, our stories, bringing the world into the magic, the pain, the triumphs of the Nigerian experience. Greatness is the unicorns. 6 companies created by Nigerians under 30 years old, now worth over $1 billion each. The stories, the people, Nigeria. Each of these stories of greatness across the globe has you in it, and it has me in it. And we can almost take them for granted. They are so Nigerian. Chimamanda talked about the danger of a single story, where negative stories are used to flatten an individual's experience and overlook the many other stories that formed them. We are our stories. We are not one story, and we must tell these stories to ourselves and to the world. Nigeria is not faceless. It's not an obscure concept or a dream hiding behind the waving of a green, white, green flag. Nigeria has a face. It has many faces. It has over 200 million faces. It has your face. It has my face. What is a dream without a dreamer? You are a hero in this great story. Your name hasn't been mentioned yet, but it will be. You haven't caught the headlines yet, but you will. Oh boy, you never blow yet, but you go soon blow. You know it. I know it. I know you won't stop trying. You won't stop trying. I know you won't ever give up. You know you won't ever give up. How do I know? I'm in Nigeria, and you are too. And we don't stop until we win.
In a world of overwhelming voices where everyone has different opinion on different issues, it is important that we bring the core issue to the fore. Join me, Nancy Banigo, on Softline as we lend our voices to inform and influence your thoughts and actions. This is not just mere talk, it is an invocative program that touches the core of our existence.
Nigeria is a great country, blessed with human and natural resources. Born on October 1st, 1960, and like a child who's grown into an adult, has faced her own share of challenges. But Nigeria has the capacity to fulfill her destiny. With great minds and great leaders, a bright future is guaranteed. Though tribes and tongues may differ, her beauty is in the diversity. Her power is in the unity. Nigeria, our country, is for you and for me. Let's make it the Nigeria of our dream. Advocate Broadcasting Network, a part of you.
Welcome. Most sincerely apologize for a bit of the time wasted there. We needed to prepare grounds for our guest who is live with us in the studio now. And as we proceed, in the course of the conversation, if time permits, we'll also have another guest join us from Bayelsa as well. But for now, let's kickstart the conversation in earnest with our guest who's already in the studio, a legal practitioner and a public affairs analyst of repute. Joining me is Barrister Mfon Ben. Barrister, you're welcome.
Thank you. Sorry for keeping you.
It's apology accepted. Now, according to the Constitution, Chapter 7, Part 2, subsection 271, the appointment of the Chief Judge and judges of the State High Court. I'm sure you already know that part. Do you want to help us out? Because that will already usher in the conversation.
Well, technically, there are procedures for the appointment of judges and different segmentations that interests. For example, interests of governments, interests of the bar, and interests of the judges themselves. And so from among the judges, from among the government, for example, magistrates, you look which magistrate is qualified to be made a judge, you recommend from among the magistrates. From the state councils, that's governments, government bar, you now look who and who can be appointed. They give suggestions, they give names. And the MBA of the local branch.
That's a state branch.
Yes, the state branch. Like Uyo, for example, Oron and all of them put together from the MBA. How many people can be appointed? So they will give names. And so from among these names, that's how judges are appointed, looking at the background. And so from all this background, from the state bar, could be independent, from the government bar, then there's interest of who and who the government wants to push in for their appointments. Then the same way also from the magistrates, who and who could be appointed judges. And so all these are the background to which appointment of judges should be understood.
Okay.
But this appointment goes back to National Judicial Council.
All right. I will quote the Constitution, and I will also bring in our guest also, who will be joining us as well from Port Harcourt. I beg your pardon, from Bayelsa. He's a former spokesperson of the Ijaw Youth Council and political commentator, Ebilade Kerefa. We'll bring him on in a bit, but let me just quickly quote what the Constitution says. Now, according to the part I earlier mentioned, which is Chapter 7, Part 2, subsection 271, appointment of a Chief Judge and judges of the High Court of the State. It states here that the appointment of a person to the office of the Chief Judge of the State shall be made by the Governor of the State on recommendation, corroborating the part that you mentioned, of the National Judicial Council, subject to the confirmation of the appointment by the House of Assembly in the state. 2, it also states here, the appointment of a person to the office of the Judge of a High Court of a state shall be made by the Governor of the State, acting on the recommendation of the National Judicial Council. So a name is suggested and recommendations follow. 3, a person shall be qualified to hold the office of the Judge, the High Court of the State, unless he is qualified to practice as a legal practitioner in Nigeria and has been qualified for a period of not less than 10 years. This is what the Constitution says. But joining us all the way from Bayelsa to also add to the conversation, as I did earlier say, we have Mr. Ekefra. Mr. Ekefra, you're welcome to the conversation on Talking Point. Great to have you.
Well, thank you very much for having me. My name is Ebilade Kerefe.
Oh, Kerefe.
And I'm the immediate past spokesperson of the Ijaw Youth Council worldwide. And I'm currently the national leader of the Niger Delta Advocacy Group New Era Movement.
Beautiful. Mr. Kerefe, you must forgive me. I'm not from Bayelsa. And I'm in Akwa Ibom, and I'm very much used to Akwa Ibom names, so you must forgive me. But thank you for your understanding nonetheless. Mr. Kedefa, let's get straight to the conversation. What is your thought about the move by the House of Assembly to empower, as it were, the governor? The office of the governor already enjoys enormous powers. Now, if they allow governors appoint, as it were, and remove chief judges of the state, what do you think that portends for our democracy, Mr. Kedefa?
Well, you should know that absolute power corrupts absolutely. We are running a constitutional democracy, and there should be separation of powers. Part of the reason why the judiciary is being accused of corruption, as it were, is because of the unnecessary interference of the executive, most especially the governor in this case, in appointing chief judges of a state. And the judiciary is the last hope of the common man. And if the judiciary would dispense justice, without any fear or favor, then the power of who appoints judges, should be expunged from the hand of the governor. And that is the only way there could be checks and balances. And if that is not done, I think democracy will be stifled, and it may also affect government of, dispensing dividends of democracy to the people. And we have had cases where there is a lot of interference, from the executive, in what happens in the judiciary, and that is because of the powers that the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has given to governors, as it were. So I am of the view that for democracy to strive, the power to appointing a judge of a state or a chief judge of a state should be removed completely from the hand of the governor, and let it be the sole responsibility of the NJC, rather than just making a recommendation to the governor.
Mr. Kedefa, let me ask again, what are your fears if this powers is also entrusted to the office of the governor? Do you fear abuse or what? What exactly are your fears about this particular move by the House of Reps?
Well, it depends on the individual. Unfortunately, some people get into power through accident. A lot of people who are governors of various states in this country, we all knew how they got into power. And therefore, they have this fear that the only way they can perpetually remain in power is to put the judiciary under their whims and caprices. Nobody is saying that the governor should not have one or two roles to play, but past events have shown that most of the political leaders, especially governors that we have, do not have, that ethical behavior, to manage situations like that. And most times they try to bring in somebody who can be loyal to them and not to the state, to be given those opportunities. And instead of the judiciary to dispense justice in the best interest of the people, you would see that they will want to take opinions from the governors, before taking out any decision as it were. So it has not really helped our democracy. Democracy is evolving. And we have seen cases where there have been a lot of abuse of power from governors. And so for there to be accountability and checks and balances, there should be a total separation of power. And that is what the Constitution says. So I do not subscribe to the belief that the governors should, have the right. But there is political undertone. And we should also copy advanced democracies. The judiciary, like I will always maintain, is the last hope of the common man. The judiciary is the fulcrum of democracy. And if that very important institution of government is being handed over into the hands of the executive, most especially the governor in this case, then automatically the essence of democracy has been defeated, because they would, in most cases, do the biddings of those people who have appointed them into office. But if those judges are coming from the people, then definitely they will be dispensing justice in the best interest of the people that have given them that mandate. But in this case, we have seen clearly that politicians over time have abused that power, and for us to take democracy to this next level and bring the dividends of democracy to the people, then there should be a total separation of power. That is my position.
Well, Mr. Ebilade Ekerefa, the former spokesperson, Ijaw Youth Council and political commentator, we must thank you for your time. We will continue to talk with you, especially on issues coming out politically and even issues around the Niger Delta. Thank you again for your time, Mr. Ekerefa.
Thank you so much. I'm always available.
Great talking to you. Boris Anfonben, let me come to you. You've listened to our guest who joined us all the way from Bayelsa. You've listened to his thoughts on the matter. Now, let me take you up on this as a legal practitioner. Is it legally wrong if the office of the governor is, aside the powers it already enjoys, given the absolute power to decide, not just deciding who becomes the chief judge, but like somebody who can hire and fire? Is it legally wrong?
Well, let's look at the Constitution first of all. Does the Constitution presently allows for such hire and fire position? No.
But the office of the governor, according to the Constitution, which I quoted, has one way or the other a hand in the appointment of a chief judge.
Because the nominations are forwarded to him. So he has a final say among the nominations given to him. The NGSC has done the work. The other arms, like I explained, the bar, other interests are there, and all these are calculated, screened, and at the end forwarded to him. Now the difference is the proposition to give the governor powers to sack a judge is not in the Constitution. He has no such power now in the Constitution. He cannot fire a judge. That is the provision of the NJSC. So once a judge is appointed, the governor has no control of the judge anymore. But unfortunately, in real practice, things seem different. The integrity of the judge as an individual plays a role. Some people naturally want to seek favor and undermine their position by trying to be too friendly with the administration, which is natural to some people who are politically involved and politically exposed before the appointment. Because the judges are from the communities, they're from the societies, they're not from heaven. They're among the people. So it's among the people that you're going to appoint the judges. So some of them will be close to some governors or to some extent introduced to be considered for appointments. And so such people will continue to keep that proximity as appreciation. And so the position of removing the governor totally from the process of appointing or having anything to do with the appointment of judges is very commendable for the autonomy of the judiciary. If there must be judicial autonomy, then there must be separation of power.
Let us establish one thing. According to what the Constitution says, based on the areas I cited and quoted, it talks first off about the appointment of a person, which is the chief judge, which shall be made, citing the Constitution now, made by the governor of the state on recommendations. Now, if we harp on this, is there no pseudo, as it were, appointment of the office of the chief judge of the state directly or indirectly by the governor?
Well, in most countries, even in America, such terms are also there. judges are appointed also by the governors and by the presidents. The background is just the name appointment, significant, just significant. But it doesn't mean they become under the control of the governors. But in the country called Nigeria and Black Africa, you see something very different because that independence may not be there. So I think I will support the position of a total independence of the judiciary. But then you also look at the abuse from external factors. Why did they bring in that condition of the governor having to appoint from the recommendation of the NJSA? That was to put a position of ensuring that, yes, people that are brought into administration, because whether I like it or not, the Judicial Council is also administration of the states, because the Minister of Justice are people not only because they're from the states, but people who have the integrity and such that could protect the interests of the state also. Now, what are the interests of the states they could protect? Every law operates between the states. We're in a federal system, so you have the federal laws, and most times you domicile these federal laws into state laws. You have the NGSA, for example, the Administration of Justice Act, and then you have also the Ministry of Justice Law of Akwa Ibom states. You have the Criminal Act, you also have the Criminal Law of Akwa Ibom states. And so you can see such area of interest where federal laws are duplicated or domiciled as state laws also. And so particularly the judges will looking at the state laws within the ambit of the administration of judicial principles within the states. And so that does not mean for autonomy of judiciary that people with integrity could not still emerge. They will still emerge. So, but I support the position and strictly oppose that consideration of what is trying to emerge or giving the government powers to hire and fire. No, that will kill our democracy, because for now, particularly, we don't really have a strong democracy anymore. Our institutions are weakened because of the powers currently now enjoyed by certain arms of the administration, mostly the executive arms.
Barry Sanford, you spoke about judicial autonomy, and I dare ask, is the judiciary really autonomous when it's been alleged over time that the governor, one way or the other, meddles with the office of the chief judge, especially when it concerns his own personal interest?
I don't agree with that.
You will have to prove it then.
No, I don't agree with that one. You see, the first thing, let us look. What is the consideration for autonomy of judiciary? Is financial autonomy.
Well, there should also be the autonomy to decide and not have influence.
Any judge that allows the governor or external influence to interfere with his own processes is about the integrity of that judge. It's a matter of integrity. So whether it's a judicial autonomy or non-autonomy, the integrity of the judge is that of his integrity. It's what it stands for. If you cannot be influenced within the current system, you will not be influenced with that autonomy. And so, if, for example, a government official says, do this, or gives you a note to pronounce a judgment, you say no. Even in Uganda, at Idi Amin's time, the chief just said, no, we cannot do this. He was killed, but he said, no, we cannot do this. So I know in Nigeria, there are judges that have strong integrity that will not succumb to illegality. Because there are two factors we must look here. The opinion of a governor of government may not be too different from the opinion of the policy, because what does the judges do? The judges only pronounce the law made by the state or assembly. So the problem is not the judges, the problem is the quality of law you make.
Let me get one thing clear, Barry Sanford. From your explanation, are you invariably absolving some of the judges who have been fingered to be doing the bidding of some of the state governors, because when we talk about judicial autonomy, you mentioned financial autonomy. A lot of them do not have that financial autonomy. They are at the mercies of these governors who decides if their vehicles are to be changed, if the infrastructures in the state where they practice are supposed to be enhanced or upgraded, who also decides about their welfare. So, a lot of times, I stand corrected, it's been proven that persons who are so appointed into that office have to be persons who will, dance to the tune of the governor. Otherwise, you may not get these things. You may be starved of funds.
That is the mentality of our social constructs currently now. That's what we see from a point of view.
Or maybe that's the reality you do not want to admit.
Well, I want to admit or not, the reality that exists in most cases. But like I said, in my 30-something years of practice, I've seen several judges. In my first year of practice, coming to Akwa Ibom State, I saw Justice Badidion. And I remember that time, the government of that period wanted to give transformers. And they said, we're giving transformers to your village. He said, hey, because of me? They said, yes. He said, no. Don't give transformer because of me. Give transformer for the need of the people. If you're to give electricity because of me, I don't need it. I'm one individual. My community needs it, not me. Some judges got the transformers and electrification in the project, but he refused. He said, no, don't use my name for my community. He refused. In that same era, he was given vehicle. He said, no, those vehicles are not in budget. No judge will collect it. I will not collect it. Let every vehicle given to the judiciary be part of the budget. Don't do me a favor. That was the judge I met at my first year of practice. Justice Badidion said, don't do me a favor. Do what is in the budget. If the vehicles were not in the budget, capture them in the budget. Do a budget review and capture it and give us vehicle. After then, Justice Badidion came in, and you saw strong judges. I remember I met Justice Rafia also at that point in time, who remanded the, I think was a party leader that said, don't do convention or congresses. He went ahead. He ordered him to be remanded in prison custody. There were strong judges at that point in time. I remember I was a judge at that point in time also. When the governor is passing the blood syringe and the stuff, the court processes, he sent a warning to the governor, said, you respect us as we respect you. When you are passing through the judiciary, keep down your syringe. When you pass us, you own it and make noise. And the governor became very careful. Military governors. And so the governor, your integrity reflects. So there are people that have that integrity. Even till today, they are judges with integrity. So it's a matter of the individual. It's not a collective position that every judge will bear. No. There's some judges that will do the right thing no matter what happens.
You've been in this country when we heard about a certain Chief Justice of the Federation who was starved of funds, especially for the judiciary, on grounds that he refused to be in bed with the executive as at then. Don't you think this is a very, you cannot on the grounds of, your reputation, punish the other people who are supposed to be entitled to certain entitlements, deny them just because you refuse to do the bidding of the executive?
I agree with you on that point. Even in our states, there have been situations where judicial funding has not met the necessary requirements. For example, currently now, we should have a court of appeal here, and it's about funding to get it done in Akwa Ibom State. For so many years, court of appeal was approved, but we need the infrastructures to go through. And now, the customary court of appeal has been approved also. We need the funding to go through it. We need the staffing and those things to go through it. The customary court appeal would have enhanced a lot of practice in the states. It would improve the quality of practice also, because when you look at, say, judges, it's not about the judges themselves. It's about also increasing the practice and the level of judgment you get, the congestion of courts. For example, currently now, you see a court list, a judge will have up to 30 matters. How is he going to do it? The courts are full. Some judges are doing 3 courts currently now. I know a judge is doing 3 courts currently now in the states. Some judges are doing 2 courts. So where is the period they would use and rest and do the work? To carry work back home. So when you look at those ones, we must look at the need. For example, we need to expand our scope because society is expanding, litigation is also expanding, and processes are also expanding. For now, we have more courts than we had before. We used to have regular courts. We now have family courts. We just opened a new court now. I call them small, simple cases courts, just small claim courts, small claims. And so these are dimensions that increase the need for judicial reviews, because at the end, the judges will look into what these smaller courts are doing in terms of appeal. And so in all these cases, it goes back to the quality of persons. And when people talk about judges' interferences most times,
the executive interference
most times, it laughs. There's relationship. There's what they call intergovernmental relationship. And so in those intergovernmental relationships are where you sort out certain things, certain elements, certain interests. Because there's no how you don't have intergovernmental relationship, parliamentary and the executive, parliamentary and the judiciary. They're also there. These are the areas that should be enhanced. But I believe very well judicial autonomy is one of the items we need to advocate strongly to make our democracy very, very strong. We need.
What does it take to make the judiciary autonomous? What are the steps to be taken? And on the sideline, if this move by the members of the House of Reps to empower the office of the governor with such an enormous power to hire and fire, as it were, a chief judge of a state pulls through, what do you think the implication will most likely be?
The implication will be that we turn to a banana republic, as we have also, as we are moving towards right now. We've seen what the powers entrusted to the president have given also the financial autonomy and all those things, the discretions and those things we are saying today. So we need some check and balances. We need some independence in terms of judicial autonomy, legislative autonomy. We don't need to put them under pressure of the executive. The executive needs to be in a position to deal with matters in the exclusive list and not to interfere in area of legislative autonomy or judicial autonomy. So there must be that distinction. Let the executive deal with powers and exclusively with powers within the executive control and allow the judiciary to function. But how would judiciary function without financial autonomy?
So biggest of all of your craves is financial autonomy.
Yes.
Let's conclude this conversation by, me asking this very important question. This whole conversation around judicial autonomy and autonomy of certain institutions, does it call for a review of our constitution? Do you subscribe to a new constitution or a review of the existing constitution so that some of these powers, this excesses that, is allowing some of these things we're talking about can be removed? New constitution or a review?
Then let us start the facts. We've had 2 constitutional conferences that the reports have not been used. Those conferences and their reports have dealt with these situations severally. The current administration had the understanding and the power to look at some of the need to review what we are seeing today. what is it? This is the board that just be reviewed.
Which of the boards?
I've just escaped my mind now. There's a particular interest that this current administration has reviewed. The report has been there for a long time.
Or sign report?
Yes, it has been there for a long time. But for the first time, I've been encouraged to look at it and address some of the issues there. So it's about taking the reports, what they have done, what they have said. You don't need a new constitutional review committee, who will sit down and start talking, and go back and write report. No, the reports are there. Bring them out. But again, the people, do they want better things for themselves? Local government autonomy was proposed, was sent to the state house assemblies. And most states rejected it. Most states, including my states. Let's be honest. What do we really want in this country? We want local government autonomy. We shout about it. The process was set up for the autonomy. It was sent everywhere. The local government themselves now said, no, we don't want it. But we come to TV and said, we need local government autonomy. But those that are supposed to accept benefits from it said, we don't want it.
Okay. Barrister Fonben, I really wish we had the luxury of time to proceed with this conversation, but we've barely just scratched the surface of this conversation, which also borders on constitutional review or bringing about a new constitution, which you have said from your submission that we do not need a new constitution. There are several committees that have been set up. They submitted reports. Let's go back to those reports and review what those reports have recommended. Thank you again, Barrister Fonben. It was awesome. I mean, for the little time that we had to discuss this issue. Well, I must thank you, the viewer, for being a part of the conversation. We've just discussed the issue of judicial autonomy, drawing from the issue of empowering the office of the governor to hire and fire, as it were, the chief judge of the state. Well, if that pulls through, you've already heard from my resource persons the position, what they're submitting, what it portends for our kind of democracy. We can only hope for the best for Nigeria. Thank you so much. My name is Ikechukwu Jue. As usual, I'll leave with a prayer. God bless Nigeria. And a salute to you, the viewer. It's bye for now.
Let's talk security, current affairs, governance, politics, your view, elections, rule of law, economic issues, foreign events on the Talking Point. Talking Point, weekdays on this channel.